What's going down, D-Gens? Back again. And again, I managed to fuck it up by making a mute video, which was awesome. I mean, it showed the pics, but, I know you tune in for my, my great voice and maybe get a beat to it, but that's cool. So, let me just go back over it. I'm going to go ahead and cover the picks, give you the reasoning, all that kind of stuff. We'll go over last week again, and then I will give you one additional pick that I've actually added since I made that soundless video. So first of all, week 13 we go 2-0, which is great. Obviously, Lions -4 at the Saints. That one really felt like luck was just on our side at the end of that game. The Lions get a lead 21-0 in the first quarter, and then basically don't do shit the rest of the game. So that's fucking lovely. But either way, Saints clawed their way back in that game. It was really tight, tighter than it needed to be, and that's what I like to say. Anyways. So, it seemed like the Lions they got the big lead and they really thought like, you know what, we can just kind of coast it from here because the defense didn't play as tough. The offense wasn't playing as great. They kept settling for either punts or field goals. And it was just like, let's just do enough to kind of keep them off our ass. And that's really all it was the rest of that game. So I don't know how you want to grade that as far as like handicapping for future games. But for this particular bet, they end up winning by 5, so they cover it. Now, that was a purple pick. It covers. It was probably really should have covered by more than it did, but whatever. We get the win. Second one is Rams at the Browns -3. That one I got early in the week, and I apologize because I did not post a video on that one until like Sunday. I was trying to do it like Saturday to see if there were any line moves or anything else that I liked, but nothing happened. And then by the time I made the video, I didn't post till Sunday, like as the game started at noon. So sorry about that, but the Rams were the 3 o'clock game, so you could have got that one if you didn't get the Lions early. Rams -3 really just were able to move the ball on the Browns in the second half, especially pretty well. Flacco actually was doing, he's doing some damage, more so than I thought he would. But at the end of the game, he remembers he's Flacco. He makes a bad throw. The Rams are able to take advantage and move the ball down and just kind of get themselves a nice little cushion. Now, that being said, the Rams by no means are, this amazing, great team. I do think that they're good, and I think that they could, I know they have a chance at the playoffs, but I think that they could maybe be a little bit better in the playoffs than we're giving them credit for. But really, in this particular spot, it was just a matter of, hey, they have a good offense, they have great receivers, and the Browns probably can't stop all of them, even if they are banged up. So we get the win there. For week 14, let's try to keep it going. It's going to be 4 picks now. The first one is Vikings at Raiders under 41. This is another purple pick. For those of you who don't know, purple picks are when we have two teams that are in my DVOA algorithm that we have correctly predicted the score on for at least 3 weeks. After that, we've been right 3 times in a row. I don't keep changing the color. It's just purple. So we have a handful of teams at this point. I believe it's about 8 to 10 teams that we have correctly predicted 3 weeks in a row. We have others that we've been to like 2 weeks, and then obviously a lot that come up for 1 week. But for the most part, those purple picks are something that I like to follow. Usually I take a side with the purple pick. In this one, the side is actually almost dead on as far as like the line. But the under is really rearing its head here. I'll show you in a minute here the projections. I believe we had this capped at like 37 points is what the projections call for. Maybe even less. I'll go, like I said, we'll go check it out. But either way, give me the under 41. And yes, I am buying it up to the 41. 41 is a key number when it comes to total. So is 40, as a matter of fact. So if you take the 40.5, you're getting one of those key numbers. If you take the 41, you're at least getting to the second key number. So that's always good. Second one here is Bucs at Falcons over 37. This is what I like to call a life changer bet. What is that exactly? That is a angle that I have that I've discovered this past summer. It's a 90% hit rate, which is why I don't mind buying points on it. I actually buy points even to get down to -300 if we need to, just because it hits at such a high rate. It's worth the additional money. Now, that being said, in this case, 37 is I wouldn't call it necessarily a key number, but it's a pretty key divider. They don't have a lot of games land exactly on 37, but this year we've had about almost 40% of games land under 37. So if you can get to 37, the odds are you have about a 60% chance that it's going to at least push, if not go over. Secondly, in this game, this is a rematch game. The first game, if you don't remember, ended up being at about 29 points or so, if I remember correctly. But that is the game where Desmond Ridder had 3 red zone turnovers. And by red zone turnovers, I mean this guy turns over like on the 1 yard line twice. So that game should have had at least 2 additional touchdowns. Secondly, though, whenever we see these games, that is divisional games, that is, if the first one is relatively close or if it's just kind of a lower scoring defensive game, typically we see the coaches make the adjustments and they come out with a little bit of a higher scoring plan or kind of find the weaknesses in that defense the second time around. So give me the over 37, and I believe this has actually been bet up to 40 in some spots. I had bought it down to 37 when it was at like 38.5. So you might want to jump on that sooner than later. That one for me is going to be at least 2 units. You don't have to necessarily do that, but this is a big one for me. The teaser for the week is actually going to occur tonight, which is the Steelers money line with the Steelers under 37. Now, this line has moved on both sides, one against us, one with us. The under has gone down from 31 to 30. So you're not going to get 37 anymore. You're going to get 36, but I still like it. The Steelers money line, you're gonna cross through 0. I don't necessarily like doing that, but in this case, what's done is done. It's already there. You can just take the plus a half a point. I mean, it's not going to be worth anything, but really what I'm trying to do and the importance of the teaser is to get it down to 3, or through the 3, I should say. This game, everybody, obviously with a total of 31, right? Everyone's expecting this game to be very low scoring between 2 very poor offenses and 2 pretty decent defenses. So give me that as a teaser. Now, the last game that I don't have on here is the Bears. It is the Bears. Really, I'm going to take 3/4 of a unit and put it on the +3, and I'm going to take 1/4 of a unit and put it on the money line. Now, the weather in that game, if you haven't heard already, like all the games that are outside and they're on the East Coast are supposed to be like drastically affected by some crazy weather. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I 100% believe that, because we've heard that at least once or twice this year already and in the years past where we're like, oh my God, the weather's so bad. It's going to be terrible and it's windy and it's rainy or snowing or whatever. And you get to game time and it's like not a damn thing, or it's very minimal and the game is not truly affected by it. So we'll see when we get there. I think the forecast is actually clearing up for that game in particular. Either way, though, if you go back, this is another rematch. This game just happened, I believe, 3 weeks ago, where the Lions won, but they had to claw their way back into this game. They kept having all these miscues in the second and third quarter, and the Bears took advantage. The Bears got a lead, and then it just really worked out that they just got a turnover, I believe. It was like a Justin Fields interception. They got a couple of things to break their way. They clawed their way back. They get the win. They were actually only up by 3, and I remember because we had a Lions -3 in our pocket, and we were going to get the push, and then they get a safety at the very end that with the fumble falling through the back of the end zone for the Bears. And so the Lions win by 5, which was great for us at the time. But again, not exactly things you can count on happening a second time. Give me the Bears to win this one. Not only is it a rematch, they've seen this team already. They kind of know where they can, pick on the weaknesses a little bit more. But also they do have they're coming off the bye week where the Lions have not had one, last week, obviously. So the Bears, not only do they have film of them playing this team, not only do the coaches know where they want to attack the weaknesses or know what to not do, they had a week to kind of think this over, mull it over, and then, instill the plan. And then they also got to, get the rest, get the advantage, get everybody healthy. Khalil Herbert, which I don't know, some people were saying he might not be the starter anymore. I don't believe that. I do think he was still somewhat suffering from the high ankle injury. Anytime I've heard a high ankle sprain, people really say it's like 6 weeks, and this guy came back in about 4 weeks. So I would not be surprised if he was still having some lingering issues from that. Hopefully out of this bye week, he's feeling 100% and he's ready to go again, because I do think he's the best talent on that, in that backfield. But either way, Give me the Bears, like I said, +3 for a quarter unit. Give me the money line at the money line at a quarter unit, the +3 for 3/4 of a unit, and I like that this week. So those are the 4 picks. Now, real quick, just to show you what we were talking about with the scoring here, or the expected scoring, and I'm just going to show you the Vikings and the Raiders. We have the Raiders. If you're looking in the middle of your field or middle of your screen, it's actually row 20 on the spreadsheet. The Raiders, we have projected for about 14 points. The Vikings in row 22 projected for about 21 points, which gives us a total of about 35 points. So the 41 is going to get us 6 points to kind of work with. Remember, your standard deviation is 7. Realistically, though, with the way that both of these defenses are playing and the way that both of these offenses are kind of operating, I would be more concerned with additional field goals, in this case, 2 additional field goals, instead of like an additional touchdown. That being said, it's very easy that doesn't happen, and it's also, a possibility that maybe those 2 additional field goals happen, but one of them misses, one of them, comes back for whatever reason. So give me the under in that game. Just the way that these coaches like to play, the way that the schematics lay out, the numbers point to the under, the entire body of work for both of these teams throughout the year has pointed us in that direction. And then one last thing, just to go along with that, I believe they are both on the under teams here, the under teams list that I am kind of maintaining. So the Vikings are 8-3 to the under, with one of their overs coming against the Eagles. And let me take a look at where the Raiders are at. Raiders are 9-3 to the under. At the time I wrote this, they were 18 points was their high mark. So one of the overs that they had came against the Bears. And if you don't already know this, earlier in the season, the Bears were really, really high on the over list. I have them right here, actually, a 7-4-1 to the over. And that's because the defense was so terrible that everybody was scoring on them. It's actually the game that Khalil Herbert got hurt in. So give me that under 41, guys. That is my big bet, or one of the big bets for the week. Between that and then the life changer, I've got about 5 units down. So you guys take that for what you like. Have a good day, and I will see y'all again soon.